Okay, hi guys. So here on my table are the art supplies I use just to begin, or I suggest for you to begin your watercolor journey. And one thing that's really important about this set of art supplies is they are really reasonable, budget friendly. I think the whole set would cost you not more than 50 ringgit. So it's a great way to start. First, we're going to go to the watercolors. So in watercolor, you want to get a set of watercolors, and this is the most basic set I've ever found that works like watercolor. Okay, so remember, it's not poster color, it's not acrylic, it's not gouache, it's watercolor or aquarelles. And you just need to get a set with about 12 colors. So this Monami set is 15 ringgit. Okay, and I'll be giving all the price lists and the links in the post. Okay, but you want to get a set of watercolors, and these are watercolors in tube form. They're usually a bit cheaper than the pan form, and what you need to do is you need to squeeze them out onto your palette, which I will explain after this. So besides watercolor paints, you need a palette, especially if you're not using pan watercolor, using tube watercolors. And what I usually do is, if you get a palette that's like this, you can just you can actually put your watercolor everywhere, and you can get another one which helps you mix. Okay, so basically on this like palette, it works like a pan for me, because when you squeeze out your watercolors, most of the times you don't finish everything. You don't need to put a lot of watercolor in your watercolor painting. So what I like to do is I like to leave the watercolor on the pan, and it can still be used after many times. So if the next time I want to draw, I just wet the paint again and I can paint on that. So get a pan that's nice, that has lots of wells, and you can get another pan for when you are doing the art, when you need a lot of water. You can use another palette. Okay, you will need a glass jar for your water. I like to use glass because it's stable. There's been times where I knocked off my water, and you don't want to knock off your the jar of water onto your painting. That would be the worst case scenario that you want to avoid. So I get a heavy base jar, and it also just feels nicer, you know. Okay, then we're going to talk about paper. It's very important you get watercolor paper, not art block. It needs to be about 300 GSM. For this course, basic, I would suggest just a cold press, cellulose, acid free. There are cotton papers out there. There are many different textures of watercolor papers. There's hot press, there's cold press, lots of details. But just for starting, cold press watercolor papers are great because they give you enough space for detail, as well as they hold enough a weight of watercolor. Atu is a good brand just to start. I actually still use them for my watercolor. I've got better watercolor papers, but I have become so attached to this brand that it's hard for me to switch. And they are not expensive. So this is a 12 sheets. It costs about 17 to 18 ringgit at the bookstore. And if you get online, I think I'll share you a link. It's a bit cheaper. Okay, so you need to get watercolor paper, okay, for this. Yeah, I will not go into the different types of watercolor papers, but for the start, I suggest cold press, medium surface, watercolor painting pad by Atto. Okay, and then we're going to talk about brushes. Okay, I don't actually think that you need a lot of brushes. You can get a whole set of brushes. Usually that's what people do when they start off. But for this course, you will need round brushes. So round-headed brushes are like roundish on the top, compared to a flat brush, which is like this. Okay, you can get a flat brush for you to do the background washes, but you know, round brushes work for backgrounds as well. And I want you to get a big size, so about size 10. Okay, a medium size, so a size 6 or 7, and you can get a size 3 for slightly more detail. So the sizes are here. Make sure they're the right way up, so you don't mix up 6 and 9. So this is 3, if you can see this little tree here. It's not very clear. Yeah, basically it's this thing here. So this is 10. This is 6. This is 3. This is 3, sorry. Okay, and this is actually, this is like 3/0. That means it's a really small one. And this is good for details. Okay, so you can get, basically you get rearing size. And the thing is, for cheap watercolor brushes, The sizes are not very fixed, so depending on the brand, so just get like basically a big one, a medium small one, and a really small one. Okay, so the thing is, because for example, you see size 6 here, right? Size 6 here is not much different from a size 3 of another brand. So I would say if you're just buying simple watercolor brushes, you have to look at the size, that whether you want them or not. The thing about cheap watercolor brushes is the brush tip gets like, they kind of open up very quickly, so that's the downside of it. But I think it's great just to start with it. A brush will cost about 2 ringgit or a bit more depending on the size. Okay, so you can start off with simple brushes, and when you want to upgrade, you can go to get like horsehairs or like all kinds of types. These are all synthetic fibers brushes. Okay, and then you will of course need paper towel, which I tell you why you need it when you start the course. So this is the set of materials that you will need to start off basic watercolor. Thank you.